Hey friends, it's Hexcrow, and today we're jumping back into the world of Dogecoin, that legendary meme coin that started as a total joke but has somehow stayed in the crypto top 10 for 12 straight years. Picture this. The entire market is bleeding red. Alts are down 90% from their all-time highs, yet Doge is still chilling around 14 cents like it doesn't have a care in the world. So why am I even making a video about Doge in 2025? Honestly, because I love digging into the stuff everyone else has already scrolled past and forgotten, the kind of topic people just ignore, but I can't resist pulling it back into the light, dusting it off, and going, wait a second, what's actually going on here? Then I look at the data, and I'm absolutely mind blown. There are these funds, big ones, small ones, seemingly random ones, quietly stacking Doge like crazy, buying it, holding it, shuffling it between wallets, even closing off certain corridors so we can't see what's moving. And I'm just sitting here like, hold up, what's really happening behind the scenes? I went deep into SEC filings and found the bombshell. They're massively increasing their positions. Litecoin, yeah, they added a bit, but Doge, they tripled it and from 17 million to 557 million coins. I'm like, okay, pause. What else are they buying? What's actually going on? I checked the reports from December 2024 and September, another $8 million poured in. Not into Ethereum, not Solana, not some hyped next big thing, straight into Dogecoin. So why on earth are people still buying a meme coin in 2025? That's exactly why we're revisiting Dogecoin today, what it really is, why it's still alive and kicking, and most importantly, what the original idea behind it was. A 12-year-old coin that survived countless "it's a scam" predictions, stayed in the top 10, and now quietly attracts serious institutional money. What is Doge? Doge is a unique phenomenon. It's both a cryptocurrency and a meme symbol around which, unexpectedly, the US government, Elon Musk, and efficiency department, ETFs, and an entire odd yet lively ecosystem have formed. The project launched on December 6, 2013 as a fork of Litecoin. Doge features 1-minute block times, low transaction fees, and a convenient format for sending small amounts of money. Yes, it has inflation, roughly plus 5 billion coins per year, but that's exactly what makes it suitable for its niche: micropayments, tips, donations, and quick thank yous online. Tesla accepts Doge for merchandise, and part of the ecosystem exists within DeFi. In short, Doge is not dead. It's actively used, and that matters. Doge, a dual identity. Cryptocurrency versus Musk's efficiency department. So what is Doge today? The story is interesting because Doge now essentially has two identities. The first is Dogecoin, a cryptocurrency that started as a meme. The second is the Doge department, a real efficiency department that Musk is pushing within the government. And these two entities intersect much more than one might expect. 1. Dogecoin as a cryptocurrency. Dogecoin was launched on December 6, 2013, as a fork of Litecoin using the script algorithm, making mining simpler than Bitcoins. Regarding supply, there is no fixed cap. Circulating supply is around 151 billion, with about 5 billion new coins added each year. The inflation model is well known and predictable. Doge's strengths are speed and low cost, fees are tiny, and a new block is mined every minute. You send a transaction, it arrives almost instantly. It's a very convenient coin for small payments. There is real utility as well. For example, Doge can be used to buy Tesla merchandise, which already accounts for tens of millions in volume. Doge also appears in the DeFi space with a TVL of around $150 million, possibly more. 2. The Doge department, the second identity. This is where the worlds collide. On January 20th, Musk launched an efficiency department and named it Doge. The department's goal is ambitious: to save the US economy more than $2 trillion. Musk essentially leads the initiative, and as we all know, whenever he says the word Doge, the cryptocurrency's price reacts, something we've seen countless times. Now that there is an official department with the same name, these intersections occur constantly. Musk announces reforms, And the Doge market immediately goes, he said Doge again, and the price jumps. Sometimes it genuinely feels like the coin's brand and the department's brand amplify each other. The history of Dogecoin, from a 2013 meme to billions in 2025, a timeline of highs, lows, and resilience, why Doge has survived 12 years. Dogecoin was born as a parody of Bitcoin, but thanks to the Reddit community, it grew from a joke, $0.0002 in 2013, to an all-time high of $0.74 in 2021. In 2024, announcements about the Doge department triggered growth, and in 2025, despite volatility and corrections, Doge has stabilized. The lesson: community matters more than supply, and inflation couldn't kill it. If anything, it contributed to its stabilization. The story of Dogecoin is a genre of its own, from a 2013 meme to a billion-dollar market cap in 2025. Think about that. A coin that started as a joke survived where hundreds of serious projects disappeared. And here's the crazy part. While the market occasionally tanks, altcoins crash, some projects vanish so quietly that no memes were even made about them, Doge somehow stays in the top 10, even though it's inflationary. Every year, 5 billion new coins are added and it's still thriving. That's pure magic. Let's go year by year. 2013, the birth of the meme and the community Doge appeared simply as a meme, a joke. But the Reddit community picked it up so quickly that a culture literally formed around it. They invented tipping, giving each other Doge as small rewards. The community was so tight-knit that they even raised $30,000 for the Jamaican bobsled team for the Olympics. That's how alive the movement was. 2016 to 2020, quiet but steady growth. This was a period of calm, but Doge continued to grow steadily. Support appeared from Microsoft in the Xbox store, early partnerships, NASCAR sponsorships. And of course, the classic: a single tweet from Elon Musk could spike Doge by 300%. By then, it was clear Musk had become a separate engine for Dogecoin. 2021, the all-time high. This was the year Doge became almost a global star. After a series of tweets from Musk and other celebrities, the coin shot up to 74 cents. From its 2013 start at around $0.002, that's roughly 370,000% growth, absolute space-level growth. The climax: Musk's appearance on Saturday Night Live. He mentioned Doge, the price initially surged, then a sharp correction followed. Many big holders took profits, but the main takeaway was clear: social media can move markets like nothing else. 2022 to 2023, bear market crashes, FTX, and chaos. Amid the FTX collapse and a general bear market, Doge fell significantly. But the key point: the community didn't collapse. People held their coins, supported the ecosystem, and Doge survived both inflation and the broader market crash. 2024 to 2025, a new breath. In 2024, talks began about the Doge department, Musk's so-called efficiency initiative, which gave the price a small boost. In 2025, the launch of a Doge ETF naturally sparked new growth. Then came the usual correction, but overall, Doge is holding steady around 0.14 to 0.15, remarkably stable for a meme coin. Year-by-year chart: 2013, basically worth pennies. 2021, 74 cents, the absolute all-time high. 2025, current price around 14 to 15 cents. And when you look at the entire history of Doge, the charts, the pumps, and those moments when everything literally shot into space, one of the most legendary and memorable events is, of course, the Saturday Night Live appearance. That same SNL episode after which the price hit its all-time high, and after that came ETFs, more news, and the famous Doge efficiency department, which keeps creating new waves of attention. What's really interesting is the growth of holders. That's a whole story by itself. At first, there were maybe 100 enthusiasts, then 1 million, then 3, then 5. And now, as of today, more than 5 million people actually hold Doge. And here's where it gets tricky. The statistics. They're incredibly murky. Seriously. Because there are two different types of numbers. Wallets that have ever interacted with Doge, bought, sent, received, tried something out, roughly 8 to 9 million. Active holders, meaning wallets that currently hold Doge, around 5.3 million. But here's the catch. Those are wallets. How many actual users this represents, we don't know. Someone might have one wallet, someone else might have 5. So yes, the data varies, the numbers float, and that's just classic crypto. About the term SNL. Just so you don't get confused, especially if in the future you're watching breakdowns, charts, or memes and see SNL next to Doge, keep in mind, it's not simply referring to the Saturday Night Live show. It refers to that specific event where Doge exploded to its ATH because of the broadcast. May 8, 2021, a date Dogecoin fans remember like New Year's. Musk went on SNL, cracked a couple of jokes about Doge, and the price blew up. Of course, it crashed right after, but the point is, the influence of a single TV appearance was comparable to the launch of an ETF. The most important thing about Doge. The key thing you always need to remember is, Doge is a bet on one person. It's literally Elon's coin, not because he created it, but because he fuels it with his attention. Elon says something, boom, plus 20%. He posts a meme, boom, plus 50%. Trump says something, the price moves too, especially now when he's back in the spotlight and every crypto-related comment spreads instantly. And then there's the community, Reddit, Twitter, Robinhood traders. Sometimes they coordinate pumps so wild that the price just launches into the stratosphere. It's the sheer power of memes, crowd energy, and vibe. They like the dog, they like the meme. They like the idea of pumping a meme just because it's fun. If you break down the influence into percentages, it looks like this. 50%, Musk 20%, Trump 30%. The community. And that's what makes Doge so unique. It's not dry technology, not strict analytics, not invest responsibly. No, it's emotion, media, crowd psychology, and celebrity influence. And the funniest part? That's exactly what has kept Doge alive, and in the top 10 cryptocurrencies, for almost 12 years. Now, about technical analysis. You can look at this part yourself. I left it unchanged because I'm not a great technical analyst. All those lines, levels, zones, they look nice, but I'm not a specialist in that. Grok told me a few things, but he has his own fantasies and can change his mind at any moment. But the chart I found on Twitter, I actually liked it. Why did I even dive into this? Because Doge has this funny dynamic. It shoots up hard, then slowly rolls back, and then, bam, a new wave. And it feels like we haven't had a real pump in a while. So it looks like one of those zones where, not advice, not a recommendation, but just by the vibe, it seems like something might be brewing. But let's move on to fundamentals. Why is Doge such a utility king? Why did it survive? Why does it keep growing? Why does it stay in the top rankings? Because adoption keeps rising. The number of merchants accepting Doge is increasing. Crypto in general is penetrating everywhere. Stores, services, merch, payments, and Doge is no exception. Plus you have gigawallets, you have routing, the whole ecosystem, and then there are fresh rumors about X payments. And here's why I'm talking about all this for so long. Because we might get a combination of factors that could trigger a massive pump, a big, heavy, powerful one. It's like a construction kit. Each piece by itself doesn't do much. The camera is just a camera, the propeller is just a propeller, the remote is just a remote, the motor is just a motor. But when you put everything together, you get a drone, and it flies. A Doge pump can happen the exact same way. The first important factor isn't even Elon's funny tweets. It's the thing he's repeated his whole life. I will never have my own token. Never. He's said this many times, yet at the same time, he constantly jokes about Doge, integrated Doge as a payment method for Tesla merch, and even said he'd like to accept Doge for cars. Bitcoin doesn't work for him, too energy intensive. But Doge, Fun, lightweight, fast. And this is where the rumors about X payments appear, that Doge might be added as a payment option for donations and tips inside X. Imagine this. You see a cool post. Boom, you send the author some Doge. And this isn't fantasy. Twitter/X is currently the fastest growing news and social platform in the world. They pay creators, they compete with YouTube, and they have a massive user base. If Doge is integrated into X payments, it could be explosive, like genuinely powerful because the audience is close to 1 billion people. I actually think a lot of this depends not on technology, but on regulation. For example, how many people actively use Dogecoin in November 2025? Formally, about 8 million addresses. But if you look deeper, the number of active holders, meaning wallets that actually contain any Doge, is only about 5.3 million. So the difference, roughly a third, represents abandoned addresses. People who tried Doge once, made a couple of transfers, paid for something as a meme, and that's it. Wallet empty, coins gone, the fun memory remains. Active holders have increased, by the way, roughly 10% over the year. But I would double-check that. I tried to verify it myself, and the data is so fuzzy that it's hard to say anything with confidence. So the question of user base growth is still somewhat debatable. Now the most interesting part, how people hold Doge. And here the statistics speak loudly, and if you think about it, they literally form the whole picture of the strategy. Dogecoin is a game with fire, but with meme sparks. 90% of users hold very small amounts, less than 1,000 coins. And together, these huge crowds of enthusiasts own less than 1% of the entire Doge supply. But the whales, the people and companies who have more than 1 million coins, make up a miserable 0.06% of all holders. Yet they are the ones who control 90% of the supply. That's a completely different league. For example, Robinhood holds around 30 billion Doge. And when you look at the distribution, it gets a bit unsettling. Addresses from 0 to 1,000 coins, there are more than 3.5 million of them, but that's only 0.28% of all coins. From 1,000 to 10,000, around 500,000 addresses. And those who have more than 1 million, only about 6,500. And they hold 134 billion Doge. In other words, 0.08% of holders own the lion's share of the entire circulating supply, and 90% are literally scratching the surface, controlling a tiny 1%. Naturally, exchanges play a huge role here too, the same Binance, Ring, others. They have big reserves and they can push the market in whatever direction is profitable for them. Especially Binance. They love to shove the price around with their elbows. Now, about inflation. Here, Dogecoin has its own philosophy. Right now, there are about 151 billion coins in circulation, and the annual inflation is around 3.49%. Gradually, it will decrease. By 2035, it'll be under 2%. And here you can say, that's bad inflation. But it depends on how you look at it. The developers designed it this way on purpose so that people wouldn't sit on Doge like on gold, but would spend it. Payments, tips, donations, all that stuff. Miners are happy. The reward is stable, the network is secure. And Doge fits perfectly into the niche of micropayments. Buy a coffee, send a friend a thanks for a meme, pay a streamer, and not worry that the coin will fly to the moon tomorrow and you sold your future fortune. Litecoin also seems to fit that role, but it's more about value and deflationary potential. It's supposed to grow, and you spend it on a bun and then you regret it. But Dogecoin is the opposite. It's fun, fast, cheap, and if it's a meme, let it be spent like a meme currency. And the most paradoxical thing, despite the inflation, its price still manages to grow. Crypto world, what can you say? So let's look at inflation in motion. In 2014, it was around 10%, and Doge's price back then, to put it mildly, did not shine, absolute bottom. In 2021, inflation dropped to roughly 5%, and that's when we saw that very historical maximum when Dogecoin suddenly blasted off into space. Now in 2025, Inflation is already 3.49%, and we're somewhere in the middle. Current prices jump around, but they're far from both the bottom and the moon. And by 2035, inflation is expected to be around 2%. What will happen to the price? We'll see. I'm not Nostradamus. But let's be honest. Inflation has its dark sides. Critics love waving them around like a red flag. First, there's no scarcity, so Doge is not digital gold. But to be fair, it's not even trying to be one. It has a completely different vibe and purpose. Second, inflation dilutes value if the price doesn't grow. No way to hide that truth. And people also say it's unattractive to funds. Supposedly, big players prefer assets with capped supply. However, as we'll soon see, that argument is also questionable, to put it mildly. Inflation does amplify market drawdowns. When price falls, it hurts more. But that's more a matter of sentiment than a death sentence. Now to the juicy part: news, ETF hype, and whale magic, or what I call a ninja bull. In the fall, basically right now, November, December, Dogecoin has clearly come alive. Applications from large asset managers appeared. Whales quietly scooped up around 4.7 billion Doge. And at the same time, real ETF approvals started rolling in. One ETF is already live. In September, that very first mixed ETF from Rex launched. And then it gets even more interesting: the news flow around the Doge department. Sometimes they drop a headline, and bam! The price twitches, trading volume spikes. So their statements are genuinely worth watching, because sometimes they create a local market celebration. And now, a really important block: ETF countdown. Grayscale is very likely launching a pure Doge ETF. Target date, November 24th. Yes, that Grayscale, the same one that would never touch an uninteresting asset if it didn't see real upside. If some unknown firm can calmly pour $6 million into Doge, it might sound small, but it's a signal. And when players like Grayscale create a single asset product dedicated to Doge, that's already a trend. Expectations: around $500 to $800 million in inflows during the first week. For a meme coin, that sounds almost gentle, but in reality, it's massive interest from institutional players. The top 10 wallets added almost 5 billion Doge in the first 2 weeks of November, as if someone out there knows what's coming next. ETFs from Rex, Osprey, all of this is already live. Yes, since launch, they're down more than 40% in performance so far, but the market overall isn't exactly sweet right now, so that's not a real indicator. Capital inflows are around $30 million, and that's just the beginning. Bitwise is expected to get approval and launch on November 26th, with projections of $300 to $500 million as well. Bottom line, anyone who still thought Doge was just a toy already missed the moment when the serious fun party started. It's entirely possible that upcoming events will draw attention to the so-called Department of Efficiency, and it's not unlikely that this attention will ricochet into the market, including Dogecoin. As early as March 2026, the department promises to publish an interim report, and if the information about $1 trillion in savings is actually confirmed, that would become an extremely powerful informational trigger. The final report is scheduled for July 4th, symbolically Independence Day, this time independence from bureaucracy. Next comes August 2026, around which leaks are circulating about a possible announcement of Dogecoin integration into X payments. This could happen earlier or later, but the very fact that such conversations are happening already says a lot. That's exactly why today's breakdown is about Dogecoin potentially becoming something bigger than just a meme. It could become the foundation for native payments inside X, especially in the segment of tips, donations, and micropayments. If that happens, it would be a massive growth driver, because this wouldn't be about short-term pumps, but about real user adoption. It's important to understand the current landscape. Today we have Bitcoin, and it has already been captured by the powers that be, by institutions. They simply bought everything while regular people were still trying to figure things out. And now Bitcoin will be held and accumulated for decades. But the average person needs an asset that is alive, fun, understandable, and easy to use. And that's exactly what Dogecoin provides. The X platform could use Doge extremely efficiently. If Dogecoin becomes the platform's native coin, it automatically turns into a tool that circulates daily in the hands of millions of users. In 2027, a Dogecoin Core 2.0 update is expected. It's still too far out to talk in detail about the technical depth of these changes, but the very existence of a roadmap is already a strong signal that the project is alive. In 2028, Bitcoin's halving is scheduled. Historically, halving years have always been favorable for Dogecoin. In fact, they've been some of its strongest periods. Will that repeat in 2028? No one knows, but the data is there. Where things stand today, Dogecoin is the leading meme coin and has survived for 12 years. $151 billion in market capitalization, with a strong chance of consolidating around $218 billion in the near term. The launch of the Grayscale Doge Trust. 5.3 million holders, and the number is growing. Dogecoin payments are accepted by Tesla and 4,750 restaurants. The first Dogecoin ETF already holds 96 million Doge. One important point: meme coins depend on constant news flow to stay alive, and Dogecoin has it. The efficiency department narrative, Musk, political headlines, integrations, ETFs. All of this keeps the token in the spotlight. On top of that, Trump will remain in power for at least 3 more years, which means Dogecoin will keep resurfacing in the news one way or another. Musk also stays highly visible, and even when he doesn't directly say Dogecoin, his media presence still acts as an indirect trigger. Now the key question: why I'm betting on Dogecoin right now. My thesis is that X will become the #1 platform in the world, and Dogecoin will become its native currency for donations, tips, and micropayments. I like the concept. The most powerful news platform gets its own token, one that already exists, is widely known, and has a massive community. This isn't another airdrop or a hollow token, it's a finished brand. Second point: if I want to take profits from something like ZEC, I need an asset with upside potential that hasn't been completely destroyed, and Dogecoin, despite the market being in absolute chaos, remains in the top 10. That tells me market makers, large holders, and teams are defending the level. The token isn't abandoned, it's simply waiting for its catalyst, its launch moment. Yes, this could be a boat that sinks, but it could just as easily be a rocket. And the choice is simple: do you want to be on board or watching from the shore? Why Dogecoin and not another meme coin? Because there is only one king of memes. Just like there's Bitcoin and countless copies, but only one king, the same applies here. There are dozens of meme coins, but only Doge has a living, breathing community, real-world usage, a growing number of merchants, acceptance in the United States, integrations, and ETFs. And the most underrated part: Dogecoin ETFs are already live and attracting capital inflows. This is the first meme coin in history to reach a full-fledged ETF, an institutional-grade instrument. That doesn't happen for a scam. Institutions don't waste resources just to pump and dump a meme coin. If they're here, there's interest, and where there's interest, there's a plan. Right now, the movement is quiet, but it's happening. The FIT21 Act has been passed. SAB 121 has been repealed. The digital commodities framework is coming. The cleaner the regulation, the faster Dogecoin gets integrated into X. Spotify has already announced it will start accepting Ethereum. Twitch and YouTube, it's only a matter of time before crypto payments go mainstream there as well. My stance on Dogecoin is firmly bullish. It may move sideways for a while, but when a key catalyst hits, it can explode. That catalyst could be large capital inflows, integration into X payments, the launch of mass-scale micropayments. I'll even leave a note in the video description: support the creator with Dogecoin. In the future, this will be standard. Content creators will end videos with, "Want to support the channel? Here's the Doge address." Only 0.808% of whales hold unreal volumes, and maybe they're the ones aiming to dominate this niche. Crypto for tips, crypto as gratuity. Imagine 5 years from now, all over the world tips are given in Dogecoin. Waiters have QR codes. Want to say thanks? Send Doge. Like Venmo, but crypto native. Large holders understand one thing. You can't just dump these volumes on the market. Exiting isn't an option. That means they're playing the long game. Why USDT doesn't work for mass payments? Because it's not fun. It's not light. USDT lives on 1,000 networks: Tron, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Polygon. Every time, confusion, fees, the risk of sending to the wrong chain. For tipping, that's completely impractical. People want simplicity. One name, one meme, one coin, and Dogecoin fits that need perfectly. Final thoughts. Now is the time to reassess portfolios and focus on long-living assets. Bitcoin has survived 16 years, Litecoin 14 years, Dogecoin 12 years. All of them outlived dozens of projects that vanished. The market is unstable, but these coins hold, endure, and have been polished by time. They've already proven they won't disappear tomorrow. Spring reveals who left a mark and who didn't. We've been watching this spring for years now, seeing which projects fade and which stay within their range, waiting for the next phase. Ideas matter most in times like these, and Dogecoin is one of the ideas I see right now. Thanks for being here. Support the channel. Like, subscribe, donate in Dogecoin. The address will be in the description. All the best. See you.